very quickly, I'm a Silicon Valley guy. I came to London 7 years ago. Got my UK passport actually in the past year. I came for a year or two and stayed. I was with PayPal for 5 years and then RBS, and for the last 4 years have done consulting, advising, and public speaking in this convergence of mobile, e-commerce, and financial services. And big data is a huge part of it. So I use the wave metaphor because mobile is a force of nature. There's no avoiding it. It's just the reality that we live in now. You either learn to swim, navigate, or drown. Those are really the two options that people have. And so it works really well as a metaphor. Very quickly, I'm going to dive into some of the mobile things. Obviously, this is showing financial touch points. So Western Unions, bank branches, post office, ATMs, point of sale terminals. The others are consumer networks that are out there, whether it's broadband, PC, television, and mobile is obviously off the charts. It's just ridiculous. But more importantly, it's how fast we got there. So this is how many years did it take to get to 80% penetration of the human population. When you look at modern technologies that we have, mobile, again, is by far the fastest to reach the deep penetration that it has. What is it? What are we talking about? It's personal, it's essential, it's affordable, it's global and connected, ubiquitous, it's proximate, it's always within arm's reach, it's sophisticated yet fun, it's trusted, it's measurable, which is where the big data aspects come into it, as well as sensitive. It actually sees better and hears better than you do, which is also very interesting. It's monetizable, and right now it's very much an operator-led platform. Just so we're clear, it is the most deeply and broadly penetrated technology ever. From my perspective, when you look at human history, it's fairly simple. It goes fire, then the wheel, then the mobile phone. And to prove my point, I talk about the toothbrush. There are 3 times as many mobile devices on the planet as toothbrushes. Not sophisticated technology to build. There's no IP protecting it. It's not heavy to ship. It's not hard to make. There's just no reason that technology should beat this one, other than connection and communication is way more important and valuable than dental hygiene. This is just to put it in context for you. Look at this. This is mobile subscriptions, electricity, safe drinking water in terms of penetration of the human population. And then it goes down to whatever bank accounts, internet, et cetera. The only reason electricity lags mobile is that people are sharing power. So you're in Africa or you're in South America, there's a guy with a generator, you go down the block, you charge your phone there, and you pay him to charge your phone. An interesting phenomenon, actually, electricity has been increasing with mobile in recent years. It didn't increase for heat, light, refrigeration, but I need to charge my phone, and now I want power in my house. Which is another shocking phenomenon. This was the announcement of the new Pope in 2005. You can see there's a little Nokia there in the corner. And this was the announcement in 2013. 8 years later. I mean, just shocking, shocking. I think that Mark Andreessen said it best, only recently have we become a world in which everybody has a computer, and we're really there with the smartphone. Now is the time when a number of industries that historically have not been much affected by technology are all of a sudden in a position to be transformed by it. So this is actually the opposite end of the spectrum that we were just talking about with Amazon. Computing power is distributed now amongst all of us. I mean, your handset, I don't care what handset you have in your pocket, has more computing power than everything we had to put a man on the moon. That is a shocking development. That is a big step. So we're reaching a point where really, between literate adults and mobile, there'll be almost a one-to-one relationship in the very near future. And that, again, is unprecedented in human history. So this first part is just to say that some people make the mistake and they think that mobile is like internet in your pocket or it's web on a small screen. They try and use these analogies that make it sort of internet with you. That is not, this is a fundamental paradigm shift in human history. This has not happened before. Internet came nowhere close to this. And so it needs to be thought of in an entirely new light, particularly in the big data context. So moving around the wave here, a few things. Acceleration, The speed is ridiculous. So this is how many months did it take to get to 1 million users. The red guys are all the internet guys, so PayPal, eBay, Amazon, AOL was over 5 years. The green guys are mobile. So Instagram launched, and 2.5 months later, they hit 1 million users. They hit 10 million users in less than a year. Draw something, 9 days after launch, they hit their millionth user. And they hit 36 million in 6 weeks. I mean, there's no comparison. You can't use an analogy. There's no analog to the internet that works like that. It cuts both ways. Well, Instagram actually hit 100 million in 2 years and then sold to Facebook for $1 billion, you probably know. That was with 13 employees. Staggering, the speed of all of that. It is a double-edged sword, as I was saying. Draw something peaked at 36 million, but then decreased down to 9 million. So they lost 75% of their audience in 7 months. Still not so bad. 7 months in, they have 9 million users. But amazing how fast people kind of come and go, and the speed of data and the speed of all of it with mobile. It's not just technology. I throw this in here because people sometimes say, oh, well, I'm not in a technology business. It doesn't matter to me. So this is Doritos did a deal with Taco Bell in the United States. It's called a Taco Loco. They took a Doritos shell and they put it around a Taco Bell taco. When you compare that to the McDonald's cheeseburger, they sold 100 million of these in 10 weeks. And so far, they've sold over 375 million to date. Compared to the McDonald's cheeseburger, we're talking 100 million in 18 years is when they sold their 100th millionth burger. This is about mobile. So it's about mobile and social and communication, the fact that everybody's linked to everybody else. And the person who ran this said mobile is the foundation. It isn't just a channel, it's a technology-driven cultural phenomenon that is fundamentally changing how consumers interact with brands and with one another. And by the way, it's not because that thing tastes good. So I know someone who worked on that deal, and they said, yeah, if you take a Doritos and you put a Taco Bell taco in the middle, it's even more disgusting. Like, it's not like some flavor phenomenon. It's just because of connectivity and hyperconnectivity, which we'll talk about. So hyperconnectivity, really quickly, is the fact that we're all connected to everyone. So already when someone says mobile, when someone says internet, they mean mobile. That happened in 2010. By 2015, it will far dwarf it. And this new generation, it's the wireless generation. They expect full connectivity all the time. The rise of the mobile-only user. This is a Harvard Business Review article about the fact that there's a group that doesn't even want to use a laptop. If you can't do it on the mobile device, they're not really interested in doing it beyond that. This is not the web to them at all. This is the web. It's multiple screens in multiple locations, multiple sizes and orientations, and they expect full seamless connectivity amongst them. They expect to be able to start something in one place and move it to another and move it to a third, all seamlessly. And really, this is what they think the web should be. And it is where it's going to be. And this is where the big data explosion from the consumer side is coming from, that there's all these data streams coming in from a variety of locations. We're in the very early days of sort of smartphones and tablets here in terms of the growth of computing and connected devices. But that connected device thing is going absolutely nuts. Here's one picture of the wave of connected watches that are coming. You might have heard of one called Pebble on Kickstarter that raised over $10 million on Kickstarter. So that is watches sold but not sent yet. And that was before they actually built the thing. They had built a prototype. And they raised $10 million from individual buyers on Kickstarter. And as a result of that, everyone's sort of getting into the smartphone, smart device area. And this is generating massive amounts of data. Not only is your phone doing it, but everything else around you. So hyperconnectivity is about this information asymmetries. In the old world, in the world before everyone was connected to everyone else, if you needed a haircut in Pakistan, you went to the center of your town, your village, your city, and all of the barbers were there. And the vast majority of the revenue from the barber made went to the municipality to have a stall in the center of town. Mobile arises, and an industrious barber puts on the side of their scooter, text me, and I'll give you a haircut whatever you want. I'll come to your office, I'll come to your house, I'll meet you on a street corner. Now, all of the money goes straight to the barber. And they don't pay any rent to anyone else. That is a classic information asymmetry. Have a give haircuts, need haircuts. How do I connect? There was some clearing authority in the middle that took most of the revenue. I tell people in banking, this sounds familiar, have money, need money, like savings, loans, and there's this intermediary in the middle who's clearing that network. It's the same with all of those, whether it's fishermen, farmers, barbers, bankers. It is this information asymmetry that we used to have that we don't really have anymore because everybody is connected to everyone else 24/7. It's very, very easy to find your match for whatever resource you're looking for now, the fact that everyone's connected to the network. It dramatically improves an individual's ability to earn a living. It really comes down to this. All friction has begun to melt. Everything is becoming smooth, slick, slippery, and very fast. And it's moving across all industries, really. It is the great opportunity of the present moment. It's an interface that removes all the frictions from a business transaction, an open global community with massive disruptive effects. This comes from a site called The Next Billion Seconds. Billion seconds, quick calculation, anybody? It's about 30 years. So these guys are just kind of futurists looking out. But this hyperconnectivity has really dramatically changed things. We used to share one line amongst hundreds of people. Now everyone has their own line. This is not a new phenomenon. So mainframe computing in the 60s, up to mini computing in the 70s, and personal computing in the 80s, desktop computing in the 90s, mobile in the thousands, and now where we are now is all part of a trend line that's been happening for a long time. So if you look at this, this is a perfect logarithmic scale of processing power over time, or number of units. And we had about 1 million mainframes, 10 million mini computers, about 100 million PCs, 1 billion desktop, and 10 billion with the mobile internet. That's kind of where we are today. I mean, if we were roll the clock back and we were at desktop internet, you'd say, well, there's going to be 10 billion of something. I don't know what it is, but that's going to happen next. And this is kind of where we are next. There's going to be 100 billion of something. We know that. And that's what this connected device thing is. And that is going to be a huge source for the big data wave that we're talking about. 99% of things are still not connected to the internet. This makes Cisco very happy, obviously. But this is the internet of everything. This is where all your devices are connected and feeding data streams into the internet and giving you power over connectivity. Today's internet, computers and phones, but really the extended internet that's coming is mobile assets, static assets, controllers, smart sensors, microprocessors. I mean, there's just, we're already reaching a stage where every item in a container car is got an RFID chip in it. So the guy outside can just scan the car and see what's inside, those huge container ships. Which is really fascinating.